Hello everyone. Previously we had discussed on the topic L, right? So Liskov substitution principle, right? So today we'll be discussing on the topic I, nothing but the interface segregation principle, right? Just give me a second, 1 second. So now let's get into the definition part here. So what it states here, the interface segregation principle, also known as ISP, states that client should not be forced to depend on this one, the interface it does not use, right? So client should not be forced to depend on the interface it does not use. Instead of creating one big interface with many methods, we should split into smaller, more specific interfaces. So that's what the interface segregation principle states here. Again, this is important. Just listen to this. I'll just read this one loudly, right? So the interface segregation principle, also known as ISP, states that a client should not be forced to depend on interfaces it does not use. Instead of creating one big interface with many methods, we should split into smaller, more specific interfaces. Just keep this in mind, right? So let's come to the example. This one. Some important points part here. So in real life, not all objects need every method in a big interface, right? So we know this. Let's consider a very simple example. I found this one very relevant to this one, so I have considered this one, right? So let's consider a very simple example here. If we create a machine interface with a methods like print, scan, and fax, then a simpler printer would be forced to implement scan and fax even if it does not support them, these two things, right? So even it doesn't, if it doesn't support them, then also it will be forced to implement scan and fax, right? So basically this one interface segregation principle states that we have to break the larger interfaces into smaller role specific ones, so we don't have to force to implement certain methods, right? uh, that is what basically this says, interface segregation principle says, right? ISP says what it says, we should break the larger or large interfaces into smaller role specific ones. Just keep this in mind, right? So let's get into the example part. Let me consider a very simple example, right? So first let me go with here from ABC. I'll just go with import. So this one ABC, and also abstract method, right? So I'll just go with the abstract method. So our first step here is to define the smaller interfaces, right? So let me go with the class printer. So this is fine, class printer. Let me pass ABC here. This is fine. Now let me make use of this one abstract method here. This is fine. Now let me go with the simple method here, def uh, print underscore doc. This is fine. Now let me pass self here along with the doc. So this is fine. Next, within this method, I'll just give passman. I don't have to return anything. So this is fine. Now let's go with the second class here. Nothing but class scanner. So I'll just go with class scanner here. Let me pass ABC. This is also fine. Next, within this class, let's go with the abstract method here. So this one will be abstract method. So this will be def scan underscore doc. This is fine. So let me pass self command doc. This is also fine, man. Right, so this is fine. So let me give pass here. This is fine, man. Next, let's go with the one more step here. Nothing but the next step. Let's go with a concrete class that only prints basically, right? So I'll just go with a class here. Hmm, let me go with the name simple printer. So let me pass printer here. I already had the printer. This is fine. Now within this class, let me go with def. Let me go with print doc again. Self comma doc. This is fine. Instead of returning, let's print something for the interactive purpose, right? So I'll just go with print here. So let me go with the string interpolation here. This one printing. So let me pass doc here. This is fine. Yeah, now let's do one thing. Let's move on with the next step here. Nothing but the multi-function printer. Means let's go with a concrete class that can print and scan both. right? So I'll just go with class. So this one will be multi function. So let me make this capital F. So this one will be multi-function printer, right? So this one will be a printer and also scanner, right? So this is fine, man. So within this method, so within this class, I'll just go with the print doc as well as the scan doc, right? So as I've said, this will be the concrete class that can print, that can both print and scan. So I'll just go with the def here. So this one will be print doc, right? So instead of returning, let me print something for the interactive purpose. So I'll just go with print. So let me make use of the string interpolation here, app. So this one will be printing. This is also fine. And finally, we have to go with the doc. So let me pass the doc here. This is fine. So we are done with this part. Next, let me go with dev. This is fine. Let me go with scan doc. Again, this is fine. Instead of returning, let me go with a print for the interactiveness. So this one will be F again. String interpolation scanning. This is fine. Again, let me pass doc within the flower brackets. So we are done with the coding part almost. So let's go with the usage part or the testing part. So I'll just go with the SP, nothing but the simple printer. Let me give you, we are making use of objects, right? We are creating objects basically. So this is fine. Now single print, simple printer dot, let me pass print doc here. Print doc, let me go with report something dot PDF, right? So this is fine. Now let's go with a multifunction printer, right? So I'll just go with MFP here. So this one, let me give multifunction printer. This is fine. So I'll just go with the MFP dot print doc. This one, let's do one thing with invoice dot PDF. This is also fine, man. This one will be MFP dot print doc. So instead of print doc, let me go with the scan doc. This is fine. This one will be contract dot PDF. This is also fine, right? So we are done with the coding part one. So this is fine. Let me format the code once. Yeah. What error we have got? Nothing, right? So this is fine. So basically, from ABC import this one, what I have written here, this one, what it does, line number 12. So we are just used to create the abstract base classes, right? So nothing but the interfaces, right? So here class printer, nothing but the line number 15. Here it defines an interface for printing only purpose, right? So next we have went with a class scanner, this one, line number 21. So this defines an interface for scanning purpose only. Next we have went with a class simple printer, this one, right? So line number 27. So this one basically it implements only printer here. So we are not forcing this one scanning or the faxing here. It just implements only printer. This is fine for now, right? So we have went with the class multifunction printer as well. This one, this implements both printer and scanner. We know this one, right? So now let's come to the object creation part here. This is fine. Let's come to the line number 40. This what it does, it calls the print method, nothing but it prints the report. And we have MFP here, this one, these three lines basically. So we are creating a multifunction printer, and finally we are printing the invoice as well as we are scanning the contract, right? So these two lines, right? So this is fine. So the output, when I run the code, the output that we need to get here is, first we have given printing report.pdf, printing invoice.pdf, and printing this one contract.pdf. Printing report.pdf, printing invoice.pdf for this one, where this one is coming from the scan doc, right? So just give me a second here. Scan doc, yeah, we have given scanning here, right? So this one has to be scanning contract.pdf, right? So printing report.pdf, printing invoice.pdf, and scanning contract.pdf, that is the output that we need to get, right? So let's check the same. So Python, let me go with the file name here, let me paste it over here dot py, right? So see here, we are getting the output printing report.pdf, printing invoice.pdf. So let me make this one capital I so that this looks good. That's it, right? This is fine. Printing invoice.pdf and finally printing contract.pdf. We are getting the desired output, right? So basically printing report.pdf, this one first line. So this is nothing but the simple printer printed a report, right? So we know this one. And second line invoice.pdf, this one is coming from the multifunction printer, right? Multifunction printer printed an invoice. Finally the third one, scanning contract.pdf, this one also it is coming from the multifunction, right? Multifunction printer, this scanned a contract basically, right? So I hope this one is completely clear, man. Easy. So this is it for the interface segregation principle, right? So again, let me come to the definition part after writing the example. Now let me read this one, you'll understand this clear. Interface segregation principle, ISP, states that a client should not be forced to depend on interface it does not use. Instead of creating one big huge interface with many methods, we have to split it into smaller, more specific interfaces, right? Smaller, more specific interface. That's what we did here. That's what we did here. Simple, simple and easy to understand, right? So this is it for the interface segregation principle. Let's move on with the summary part here. So let me summarize whatever we have learned so far. So just keep these things on the mind. So interface segregation principle basically avoids forcing classes to implement methods they don't need. We know this from the definition part as well. This is important. Instead of a fat interface, when I say fat, suppose for the example we are considering machine with print, scan, fax, everything, right? So interface segregation principle recommends smaller role specific interfaces, right? So this is one of the important points as well. The second one, final one here is, so basically ISP or the interface segregation principle makes code cleaner, flexible and easier to maintain, right? So these are the very important points. These are three very important points that we need to keep in mind, right? So for now, this is it. Yeah, next tomorrow we'll be discussing on the topic this one, D. Nothing but we are left with only D, right? So we have already discussed this one. S and solid, O and solid, L, list code substitution principle, interface segregation principle. Finally we are left with the dependency inversion principle, right? So tomorrow we'll be discussing on the topic dependency inversion principle. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.